Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. So today I am going to create this spooky lighted up ghost. He was super fun to make and it is kind of easy to do. It just takes a little while, a little patience to put the parts together. Alright, so if you want to see how I put this together and the supplies that I used, keep on watching. So let's get to crafting. Okay, so as you saw the introduction to my video, I made a little ghost from a terracotta pot. At this moment, before I even get started, I actually don't know what it ends up looking like. I don't know if I end up using everything that I have here, but I'll tell you what I have. First off, I have this little LED light set that I grabbed from the Dollar Tree. You can grab these pretty much anywhere, but they're cheap. And I had bought ghosts, and then I had grabbed these spider ones. And I've already used the ghost ones, and I would have liked to have used more ghosts for this particular project, but this is what I have, and I'm using what I have. And because I don't remember why I got the spider ones, I decided, you know what, maybe I'll do a spider theme on my little ghost. So the first thing I did was open this up, and it has a little screw here, so I unscrewed that, put 2 AA batteries in there, closed it back up, finish tightening it here. And then, of course, well, you know, before I tightened it, I made sure that they work. So this works. Turn it on. The lights all work. So that's good. Okay, we're going to put that aside. I mentioned the terracotta pot. I don't remember what size this is. This wasn't a 2-pack, and I did grab it from the Dollar Tree. But you can just grab whatever size you want to use. I mean, if you compare it to my hand here, it's probably 3 inches in height. Maybe 1.5 inches in diameter here, but it's probably about 2 here. And this is probably 1.5 inches in diameter. It's just a little styrofoam ball. You can find styrofoam balls at the Dollar Tree as well. Just get the size that, you know, you can compare to whatever terracotta pot. Now, you're not going to find anything bigger than that. If you want to find something bigger than this, you want to make a bigger terracotta pot, make a bigger ghost, you're going to have to go look in Walmart, Target, Hobby Lobby for these type of craft items. Okay, so from the Dollar Tree, I also grabbed this little packet of pumpkin decor, and I'm just going to grab one little pumpkin from the packet. Of course, because my idea is sort of gearing towards the spiders, I don't know if I'm going to use a little pumpkin, but I have it ready just in case. I have some white acrylic paint that I also purchased, I believe, from the Dollar Tree. I think I'm going to use some black as well, but I also have a Sharpie that I can use, so I'll grab that when I need it. I did find these also, Dollar Tree, and it's a little gingham or plaid. A plaid, what's gingham plaid, whatever you want to call it, ribbon, and then I have this one with little ghosts on it. These are 5/8 inch wide, 5/8 inch wide. Okay, there's other little ribbons you can choose from. You don't have to use any ribbon at all. I happen to have some spider webbing for something that I decorated outside. I have another package that's actually already open. I just can't find it, but I want to show you this one for now. I did grab it from the Dollar Tree as well. And then I have a package of cheesecloth that I want to use to do the body, you know, drape over my little ghost body to give it more of a ghostly look. Okay, so besides first checking to make sure my lights work, I am going to paint my terracotta pot and probably a little bit of the styrofoam, even though it's already white. I might add a little bit of paint because sometimes when you paint it, it kind of closes some of the pores and you don't see as much of it, but we'll see if that actually happens. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this first so that it gives it some time to dry before I continue with the rest of my project. Oops, did I even open this completely? Yeah, it's a little, I didn't even notice that. It's a little bit, like, kind of dried up a little bit. It's not the best paint, but we're going to try and see if this works. If not, I can mix in a little bit of water or just grab another paint. This one right here on the edge is not so great. Let's see the one below it. Or is it the same all over? I kind of like the texture of it, even though it's going to get covered up. Yeah, it'll work. Okay, so we're just going to paint this white because we don't want that color to show through the cheesecloth. Now, if you decide to use like a little satiny fabric instead of a cheesecloth or a gauze, you might not need to paint the little terracotta pot, you know. And you don't have to actually use a terracotta pot. If you have a can, you know, like maybe a can of corn or something like that you've popped open, you can use that. you know, for the base of the body, just to hold up that little ghost. You can use anything, or a little cardboard box, or a little something round. Okay, so I'll finish painting this, and I'm going to paint this too. You know what, to hold it so I can paint it a little better, I'm going to use this, and this is, I'm just going to stipple it on there and see that if it actually does anything. If it doesn't, I'm not going to bother painting the whole thing. Not really. But just to keep my white's consistency, or, you know, consistency, to keep the white, the consistent white, the same white, I should say, I'll go ahead and do it, just so that they both have the same color underneath the cheesecloth. And it blends in a little bit better. Plus, I kind of like the little texture this has, this paint. It shouldn't be like that, but it's just, you know, old paint, I guess, even though I didn't buy it that long ago. All right, I shall be back. Alright, so I painted both of my items here. Styrofoam ball is not quite dry yet, but I'm going to get on with my craft because I want to get this video done. So I'm going to take some hot glue, and I'm going to put some on top of the terracotta pot here. Plenty of it, where I think the styrofoam ball is going to touch. Oh, I should have done something first before I did this, but I'll try and do it quickly. And that is to grab the ball and push down on it to create a almost flat surface. And that helps to grab as much of it when you put it down on your pot. Okay, so now that glue needs to dry. All right, I want to take some cheesecloth. And this is kind of white piece of fabric. And it's folded here. Where is it folded? Here. And then it's folded again, so it's, you know, doubled. So this length is more than enough to go, you know, down. You want to measure from the center, curving downward, and then maybe draping a little bit longer. So this is enough to go up and down, but then I want it also long enough so that this end also can do that. So then I want the other end to do the same. And it's about right there. So I'll go ahead and cut a nice big piece of the cheesecloth. And it's not expensive, so, you know, make it bigger than what you think you're going to need, and then you can trim it off. But don't cut it what you think you need, or less than that, because then, yeah, you know, it might be too short, and then you're going to wish you had cut it longer, and then you're going to waste your cheesecloth. Okay, so now I can go ahead and pop it open, and you know what I'm going to do, actually? I am going to fold it in half, rather than it being in fourths like this. I'm going to fold it in half because it's long enough to go across, you know, the top and the bottom. So whatever little fabric you have, if it's really sheer, you want it to be double. I think it would be better. I made a little mini ghost for last week's project, and I doubled it on it as well. Look, see, once you get it like that, and then a lot of your fabric will be crinkled here, so you get to hide a lot of what's in there. So that works really well. And the reason that I'm using a terracotta pot, or if I use a little can or some round, maybe cardboard container, is because that's where I want to put the packaging of the light. Okay, so I'm going to move this aside, the gauze, with this cheesecloth for now. And I have this pipe cleaner, and I want to put it around the neck. So I'll go ahead and, you know, hot glue it on the edge here of the pot. Just halfway, you know, half and half of your pot. And just push that in there so it gets glued down. Because you want to check it and make sure that you know you got half of your chenille stem in there. I need a little bit more glue right here. And these are going to be the arms of my ghost. Let's push it in there and then fold this. There we go. And we want that to dry as well. Oops. Okay, now we can put this cloth and drape it over. Bring as much of it forward and behind and on the little arms here. Okay, so in order for it to stay in a certain shape, we're gonna have to glue down the cheesecloth, especially right here where the little shoulders are, because we want to form the shape of that little head. We want to follow that. Okay, so we're gonna just carefully lift this up. Once you have it, placed on your, on your ghost figure here, you got this about the same length here, about the same length there. Everything's fitting perfectly. Push it down against it, and everything looks good. Then, just carefully, lift it. You don't want to remove it. You just want to do one part at a time, and then just put some glue on the side, a little bit on the arms here, and then just carefully drape it back, making sure that gets tucked into the little shoulder and on the little arm here. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing on this side over here. We'll just carefully remove it. And just put glue on this side here. You can put a little dot in the very top, but you don't need to. Just right here, and what would be the little shoulder, a little bit onto the arm. Bring that and tuck it in there. Make sure it's draped over the little arm the way you want it, like so. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around. And either side could be the front or the back, okay? It hasn't been decided yet. I'm going to add more glue along the edge here, just so we can bring that down. And I'm just going to pinch it a little bit so it gathers up a little bit when it glues down, so I can form that little shape of the head, okay? And if I didn't grab, just add a little more tiny dots of glue to pinch down that little pleat there. And then of course I'll do the same in what I'm considering my front. A little glue there. Bring this down in little pinches like that. Try to make it as smooth as you can on the little face. Okay, actually I can put a little bit right in here and bring that in right here. That looks good. I'm happy with that. Look at that. Okay. Now I want this fabric here to follow along the sleeve, what would be the arm of the ghost. So I want to put a little bit of glue there. Glue that down. Onto the chenille stem. Not too much because you don't want it soaking, over into the fabric on this side. We don't want to see that glue there. But we want it to stay with, the little arm so we can shape this little ghost. And one more on this side. Alright. And there we go, like so. Okay. So now that we've got it shaping up pretty good, I can fold the little arms any way I want, and I'm going to want to bring them forward like this because it's going to be holding the little pumpkin, I believe, right here, and the little arms, the little hands of the ghost, little ghostly hands. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to trim any excess fabric, and I just want to trim it kind of, not so perfectly, just trim. And I want to kind of go like in a rounded shape. I especially want to do back here because I got that fold, and I don't want that fold in the fabric. So I'm going to cut downward towards the back, around, and then upward. And this side of the, the sleeve or the arm was a little bit longer than the other side, so I'll just trim that a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure I kind of separate the two layers like that. And then you want of make them a little bit raggedy, you know, the little edges to kind of get a little raggedy. Okay, this one's still a little bit too much, so let's trim that off. Yeah, a little too much. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing that I did in the back part where I separated the two layers and just kind of pulling them a little bit, make them a little raggedy. And of course, you don't have to do that if you don't like that look. And it all depends on your fabric, because maybe you use a fabric that's not going to fray like this, but I want that fraying. Okay, so I've trimmed it some more in some areas. And what I want to do is I want to, again, lift up this layer right here. I'm going to lift this one up right here. And then I'm going to I'll lift that one also, and then I'm going to take some glue and just in whatever little spots there, and quickly bring this one down, you know, pleating it and sticking it to the terracotta pot, the body. Just get it on there as best as you can, and then I'm going to trim a little bit more like that. I do want some of the fabric to kind of cascade onto the table. You don't have to do that. If you want to cut it right at the length, you decide and do that for yourself. And you're a little ghosty. Okay, and I'm going to repeat the same thing in the front. And I'm just trimming some fabric where I feel like it's just too much, like it's coming out too much. Okay, and then put glue wherever you feel like you want it to just kind of hold, like that. And then I'm going to put a little bit more right here. Okay, and then I can bring this fabric back down and just kind of make it more frayed. Turn it around and do the same thing to the front. Okay, then we bring this back forward. I'm going to fray it a little bit. Get it, form it around the little arms here. And you can see here that I need a little trim right there. That's why it's always better, like I said, to cut it bigger than what you think you're going to need, because then you can trim and get it to the size that you feel comfortable, that it looks right for you. See, I want this to be obvious, like arms here, so I don't want too much bulk of fabric here, so that's why I'm trimming it more and more as I go. Okay, and these are cross, the chenille stems themselves were crisscross here perfectly fine. Of course, I'm starting to second guess that, like maybe it should be a different position. Yeah, maybe you'll hold the pumpkin in one arm. Let's see how that looks. Maybe just holding the pumpkin in one arm, and then you can have the other little arm do something else. Yeah, let's do that, because you know what? I'm thinking that if I put them both here, I get so much fabric crisscrossing here in the front, and I don't really like that. I like the look of the gown, if you will, of the ghost coming down like that. So put his little arm up here, and then when we do the little lights, we'll do some maneuvering. So that little pumpkin's going to go in his little arms here. So I'm going to put it off to the side because we're not using it yet. Okay, so now the lights, I want to put them inside here because if I need to turn it on and off, I mean, I don't want to see it. That's why I'm putting it in there. That's the reason why I'm putting it in there. Okay, so I want it in the back. I'm considering this the back. So I want it back here, and I thought I would glue this down to here, but what if I have to pull it out because I can't reach in there to unscrew this, to open this up and change the battery? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another piece of chenille stem and glue that to the inside so that I can just tie it around here and hold that in there. Okay, so I'm just going to maybe, let me see. Okay, I was thinking a little bit more than half, and it is a little bit more than half. So about It's 12 inches, so a little bit more. It's about 7 inches. Okay, so this will go around it, and then we can wire it down like that. Okay, so in the meantime, okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just folding the, oh my goodness, let go. Folding the chenille stem. This is the part that was in the, the back here. So this part right here, I'm going to put glue. Oh wait, also need to see how far in I need to put it. Let go. I want this to be in there, so I don't want it grabbing way down here because this is going to topple like that. It's not being held right. So I have to go in there pretty good depth. So I'm just going to mark it with a little bit of glue here on the side, so that tells me more or less how far in I have to go. Okay, or you can use a marker or something to mark that. Okay, pushing that in there. And then push it down against the pot. And then I'm going to put some more glue kind of overlapping over the chenille stem, grabbing on the terracotta pot, going over it, to create some little anchors there, anchoring that chenille stem. Not just being glued down from one side, but, the whole thing. So then we let that dry really well because, we don't want it coming off while we're putting this in there, okay? So we'll be back. Okay, in the meantime, while that glue is drying in there, and it's almost dry, but I want to make sure it's really dry because I don't want this sticking to it and then having trouble pulling it out. Or, if I try to yank it out, it'll yank out the whole chenille stem. Okay, so I'm going to grab this little pumpkin and I'm going to do like a little jack-o'-lantern face on it. And I'm just looking for like the nicer side of it because over here's got like little pokes, but over here it does too. So the smoothest part is right here, I think. I'm just going to use a little, I'm just going to use a Sharpie. And this is just a fine point. And I'm going to first mark where I want the little mouth. So I'm going to go across like that. And just make a little mouth. Let's see. Can you see that? Little mouth. And then where I want the eyes. So a little dot there, just to mark where I want things. Okay, so I'll just continue. I'm going to do like a little triangle thing. So that will be the eyes on my little pumpkin right there. And then I'm going to do some little tiny triangles on the bottom of the mouth here. Just kind of like that. Do whatever shapes you want on yours. So I did a little more shaping on it. There we go. Just like that. Do your little face however you want. I'm not even going to put a nose on it. Just eyes and the mouth. Okay, so now that that glue is dry, I can put this in there. Push it in as much as I can so it's not sticking, beyond the pot. Just put it in there. And then grab your two little chenille stems and try to tighten it as best as you can so that the little light thing doesn't come sliding out. Now it might. So you're just going to have to twist this as best as you can. Use pliers if you have to make, help you twist it tight. And grab the two ends upward. There we go. So I can twist at the bottom and make it as tight as I can. But, don't twist too much that when you try to go in there to untwist it to take it off, just leave these two ends, kind of open so that you can grab them and, untwist it. So let's see that stays. Yeah, and then I can reach in there, turn on the little light, turn it off. Perfect. Okay. So the end of the string here, we're just going to bring it upward on the back of our little, I was going to say angel, of our little ghost. And then we can just drape these lights around our ghost however we want. So that's what I want to do. But I need to straighten them out so that I can see how much of it I have, because I have a lot. Okay, so I want to hide this in there. So let's keep that all under there. And I'm going to bring the first little spider upward. And what I'm going to do is, because it has plastic right here, I'm going to add glue there. Don't put it on the wire itself. And this little spider is just going to help me keep this little wire that's coming out from the bottom back here, so it's not, all over the place. That's going to help me do that. And then I'm going to just keep draping it around. I don't know how I want it yet, so I think I'm going to put this one on its head and continue adding the little spiders in different spots. So let's go ahead and put a little more glue right here. Right there. That's cute. Maybe one here on the shoulder. Add a little bit of glue. So just drape your wire, but make sure you fold your wire. So it's not like, coming around on the ghost, but rather, it's staying still someplace. This little arm's going to go right here, holding the pumpkin. So I'm going to glue this little spider right here on the gauze or the cheesecloth. Try not to capture the wire there with the glue. Like that. And it's neat that it has this wire because then you can, turn it in different directions. Oh my goodness, this is getting caught everywhere. And this is really long, so this is going to go around a couple of times. Okay, so now this one, I want to glue it right here. And then just stick it to the body right there. But before I do that, I want to put my little pumpkin in there. So I'm going to cut this wire. I'm using my craft scissors rather than my fabric scissors. Okay, so I want to put lots of glue right here in the front because that's where it's going to, I don't know why I want the little stick in there actually. Let's just pull it out. Well, I can't. Let's try this. You know what? I don't want to take it off because what's happening is that I'm pushing into the little pumpkin and I don't want to bend it. So I'm going to glue that onto the little arm here. And then glue in the back of the head of the pumpkin, or just the pumpkin itself. And then glue it to the body of our ghost right there. Okay, so then I can continue putting the rest of the lights, but I want to do a little face on my ghost, which I probably should have done first. And I could use the Sharpie. Well, let me do the Sharpie, and if I feel like I need to use black paint, I'll do that. So I'm just going to do some oval eyes. And I'm just going to mark them. I think I'm going to use the paint, you guys, but the Sharpie does help me to mark where I want things. And then I want to do an oval mouth, and the mouth just going to do it a little bit bigger than the eyes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get a little thin brush and some black paint and do that. All right, just a little bit of paint on my brush here. And I have to kind of like push it into the fabric because it's that gauze, and then underneath it I have styrofoam. So it's not something that you just brush on and it's going to lay, because it's not flat. There's, little holes and little ridges and such. So you kind of have to push the paint in there. The only problem with that is that you end up having one eye bigger than the other, and then you got to compensate the other eye, and then they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So you have to just be really careful. That's why I'm saying just kind of, instead of trying to brush the paint on, just kind of push it into the grain of the fabric. And then with the same thing with the little mouth. And I'm just going to make it a little bit wider because I want it bigger than the eyes. And just really simple little face. Little ghostly face, like that. And don't try to do any more, don't try to fix it, leave it alone. Alright, the little face is still wet, but we're going to continue. So now, just making sure this fabric is down and it doesn't get caught when I glue. I don't want these ends here, the bottom edges, to get caught. So I'm just twisting this little spider because he's facing downward. Now I want him to face up because I want him looking like he's crawling upward. And make sure that the wire is not in the way. And, oops, I got some dry glue on that. Okay. And glue it down. It'll stick to the cheesecloth. I keep wanting to say gauze. It'll stick down to the cheesecloth, but Okay, I'm just trying to figure out, let me push this wire back as well so you don't see it as much, and then just kind of bend this one so it kind of tucks underneath the fabric, and then just kind of push the fabric over it a little bit. Do the same thing over here with the sleeve fabric, to kind of just draping a little bit over the wire so you don't see that much. Okay, so now then this next one, I'm going to put it curling up the fabric of the, what I'm calling the sleeve, okay, or the arm. Oops. Okay, I know that it's falling forward, but I'm going to use this other little spider up on top of here. So I'm going to bring this wire around the chenille stem, and then bring this little spider in front here. And gluing it down to the little hand. And as you can see that I still have lots of these little spiders. Do I want them going to the back? Yeah, I think so. I'm going to push this through here. And get that over on the other side. There we go. And just fix this wire so it's kind of going behind the fabric. There we go. The fabric is draping in front of it, just to hide it a little bit. Okay, now we can turn it around because these spiders are coming out over here. And just so they stay in place, I'm going to glue one there. And like that. Okay? I'm having issues with wires today. And this spider's facing down, and I'm okay with that. Let me just go ahead and glue this one down over here, across like that. I don't want it to pull this like that, so I'm trying to find a place. Right here is good. I won't even bother gluing this one down. There we go, just like that. Like that. Turn it around. I wasn't even thinking I better not be touching that little face. Now make sure your face is dry before you touch and do all this extra stuff, because you might accidentally smear the paint. I mean, I'm trying to get this video done, so I'm just being a little rushy. Okay, so I had some spider web that I had pulled out that I thought I'd use. And then I thought, you know what, I don't need to use it, but now I'm thinking, I've actually seen the webs from the glue gun kind of make me want to use it. And I found the one that I had already opened. I had it in my trash can, and I honestly don't remember putting it there, but I was cleaning the room earlier, moving things around, so I guess somewhere in the process, either my mind thought, oh, I'm going to throw that away, or, which, I don't know if I did think that, because, you're doing stuff and you don't really know what you're doing. Or maybe I was indecisive, because it was right on top of the trash can, right on the very top. It wasn't like it fell, it just fell in there, or I put it in there and then put more trash on it. Or maybe I thought, I'll put it there, get it out of the way, so I can have it where I can grab it when I'm actually doing my craft. I don't know, you guys. I'm at this point, I'm just making stuff up. Okay, so I'm gonna take a piece. Oh my goodness, get off of me! I don't like working with these little webs because of that reason, but they look really great on things. So I'm just trying to spread this little piece, but every time I spread it, my finger gets caught, or my dry skin gets caught. Okay, let's go ahead and just drape it over. Drape it over the little spiders. And then I just put a little tiny drop of glue. Stick it to the gauze. And just trim off what you feel like you need to trim off. I'll fix this one so it's not so far down. Ooh, I like that. I don't know if you can see it, but oops, it makes a really nice little effect. Okay, let's try adding some more. And on the other side, like on the little head here. Okay. get it caught onto the little spider. Oops, but I'm trying to spread it out at the same time. Get it caught on this little spider, and then just bring it down however you want. I'm going to try to catch it with one of the spiders back here, a little bit like that. And anywhere else you want to, my goodness. It's not just my dry skin, but my nail is got a little bit of a little piece, you know, coming off or cutting off. Okay, it's hot, 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 hot. There we go. Like that. I'm going to actually fold this right here so I can hide that a little bit. Okay. And I like the idea of it draping, and you can see it draping behind it. Like when you're looking at it from the front, seeing the webs going across it from behind, you know, behind it, like kind of a background almost. I like that. And then you look at it from the front and you see the webs back here. Oops, I touched the, look, I got paint on my fingertip and I touched the side here, so I got a little black paint there. And that's okay. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to keep stretching this out. And hooking it on certain spots, little spiders. And then just trim off any bits of web that are too much. Okay, let's turn it around. Now I'm thinking if I should get some white paint and clean that up. Nah. What if I cover it with some webs? No. Okay, so just take my tip or my advice and make sure the little face is dry before you continue on. Now because it's on styrofoam, I don't know why that takes longer to dry. But just be careful. Okay, that'll be good. I wanted to put more webs on it, but I think this is good enough. Okay, so I had these ribbons. Oh, now I know what I'm going to do. And I had this plaid and I had this ghosty one. So let's pop both of them open. And I still have this little bit of chenille stem. I'm going to cut that in half. Into 2 pieces. Let's see. Let's move the camera so you can see down what I'm doing down here. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to make a little bow. Just like that. Make it a little bit bigger than I think I want. And I'm just going to scrunch it up in the middle. Take a little bit of chenille stem, and you can see I'm not using the whole thing. I'm just going to use an end of it, so then I can just trim off this part. And I'm going to get the little ends, fold them in half, cut out little dovetails, but you can cut them at an angle, cut them straight, however you want. I just like little dovetails. Okay. And then just kind of figure out which side you like best. And I like this side. So I'm going to put it here on the side, and that's going to sort of cover up that little paint problem that I have there. But you can put your little bow wherever you want, if you're going to put a bow. You don't have to. I'm just moving this little web so I can get in there. Put the little bow like that on the side. Poof it up a little bit. And then I'm going to take the one with the little ghosts on it and make another one and put it on top of that one. Because I can. Okay, there's something that I want to think about. I want to try. I'm just going to cut out one of the little ghostly shapes. Can you see that? The little ghost. What if I just use that and glue it right there in the middle of the bow to cover up the chenille stem? Oh, I'm going to do that. And I can use the rest of the ribbon for another project. But at least I use some of it here. Haha. For a little ghost on there. Oh my gosh, I like that. Look at that. Can you see that little ghost? Okay. Awesome. So there we go. Alright everyone, so there he is. He's all completed. My spooky lighted up ghost. I'll bend this a little bit further down here. And just drape him here on the table a little bit better. There we go. He is looking fantastic. I love the little spiders. I'm glad that I did grab those because they look super cute on it. So that is just your decision of what little lights you want to use. They did have some little bat ones too, and of course I mentioned the little ghost. So that is up to you what you want to use. But I think he looks absolutely gorgeous. What else can I say? I put it together, so I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the light so you can see what he looks like in a little bit of a darker atmosphere. Okay, so there he is, and what he looks like without the all the lights on. Of course, I've got some natural light coming in from a window there, but you can see the lights here pretty good. All right, so don't forget to also subscribe. So hit that red subscribe button and then hit all in notifications so that you get notified as soon as I upload a video. Thank you all so very much for watching my channel and supporting it. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and as always, enjoy.